The alien guard slammed the metal door shut behind him. Heavy boots echoed through the dark hallway of the Trek's prison moon. The place smelled like oil, blood, and fear. A group of guards in black armor walked together, claws clicking against steel. At the center of the dark room, a single human sat, tied with thick energy chains. His face was bruised, one eye swollen shut. His hands were bloody. But he didn't scream. He didn't beg. He smiled. The Trek's leader stepped forward, tall and cold. His name was General Cartel. He leaned down and hissed in the human's ear. "You humans are weak. You die easily. Why are you still alive?" The human's voice was quiet, raspy. "Because I'm not like the others." Cartel laughed. "You will be soon. We've broken bigger creatures than you." The human looked up with one open eye. His smile never faded. "You haven't seen anything yet." The human Dane. Keller. His name was Dane Keller. He had no rank here, no weapon, no allies. Just memories and pain. He was the last of the scouting team from Earth's Deep Space Division. 7 humans had landed on this moon 2 months ago. One by one, they died. Some were executed. Some died fighting. One gave up, but Dane didn't break. The aliens kept him alive to study him. They didn't understand humans. They thought they were weak, emotional, soft. Dane let them think that. It gave him time. Each day, he studied the guards. He learned their walk, their armor, where they kept weapons, how fast the doors closed, how loud the alarms were. Even when they beat him, he counted seconds. He counted footsteps. He planned. He wasn't just a soldier. He was something else. The past, his real mission. Dane had not come to this moon by mistake. He was part of a classified Black Ops unit. From Earth, his mission was to test how far the Trek's dominion had spread. He was not supposed to be captured. But the Treks had advanced tech. They didn't expect Dot in the first hour. Half his team was gone. In the second hour, they lost control of their ship. By the end of the first day, only he remained. Dot captured, Dot tied, Dot tortured, Dot. They tried to take his memories with mind scans. But human minds were harder to crack than they thought. Their tech burned out. They tried pain. They tried poison. Dane didn't break. He had one thing stronger than any weapon: rage and patience. The guards laugh. One guard, a short one with blue skin and sharp teeth, spat on him every time he entered the room. "You should have died already," he said one day. "You are nothing." Dane looked up. "If I'm nothing, why? Are you still afraid of me?" The guard froze. Dane didn't laugh. He just stared, cold, silent. The guards started to avoid his eyes. They didn't say it, but something was wrong. His body should have failed. His will should have broken. Instead, the human was growing stronger. Secret messages. Dane had found a crack in the wall behind his cot. Inside, he scratched numbers, symbols, reminders. The guards didn't know human code. He left a message. Plan. Active. Time running out. The alien guards thought it was random scratching. But Dane was writing his own escape plan, in small pieces. A full map of the prison. Weak points, shifts, guard habits. He was preparing something big. The night. That changed everything. It was cold. Silent. 2 guards were laughing near the door, watching an alien game on their screen. The power lights flickered. A sensor beeped. One guard leaned down to check. That's when it happened. A sharp sound. A snap. Then silence. The second guard turned. The first was gone. Just gone. Blood on the wall. A shadow moved behind the pipes. The second guard shouted, "Alarm!" But it was too late. Dane Keller stepped out of the dark, covered in blood. In his hand, a broken pipe. In his eyes, fire. He didn't speak. He didn't wait. He moved like death itself. How did he escape? Dane had unlocked his chains with a sharp piece of alien bone he'd hidden in his arm wrap. He knew the patrol times. He knew when the camera glitched. He knew which lights were faulty. It took weeks to plan, one moment to act. He broke 2 guards, necks in silence. He stole one's uniform and access chip. He used the other's plasma knife to cut a path through the pipes. The alarm didn't sound until he was already in the engine sector. Dane's promise. On his way out, he passed the room where they kept the other prisoners, aliens from dozens of species. He stopped, looked at them. They stared at him in fear and awe. He said one thing, "I'm not coming back alone." Then he was gone. The command room, aftermath. General Cartel stood in the center of the broken prison command center. Screens were shattered. Fire burned along the walls. Alarms screamed. Blood painted the floors. A single recording played again and again, a video of Dane. Looking into the camera, he said nothing, he just smiled. Meanwhile on Earth, deep in a military base under the Atlantic Ocean, an old signal blinked. For the first time in months, Code Black Phoenix, active. The Admiral leaned in. "Is that Dane Keller's beacon?" The tech nodded. "Yes, sir." "He's alive." The room went silent. Someone whispered, "God help the Treks." Final scene, one line of vengeance. In space, a stolen Treks dropship floated toward a hidden asteroid belt. Dane sat in the cockpit, staring out at the stars. He pressed a small button on his wrist. A hidden signal flashed through space. A message for Earth, for the enemy. For anyone watching, his voice came through, quiet, steady, full of promise. "Let's begin." Alarms screamed across the Trek's prison moon. Red lights flashed in every hallway. Smoke poured from broken walls. Blood stained the cold metal floors. Inside the command room, General Cartel stood frozen. A holomap showed the prison's layout. One red dot moved fast through tunnels and maintenance shafts. "That's not possible," whispered the communications officer. Cartel growled, his tail thrashing. "A human, alone, escaping this facility? You must be joking." The officer didn't answer. No one did. Because they all saw it. The red dot disappeared. Gone. Moments later, the ship bay doors exploded open. A small stolen dropship blasted into space, dodging plasma fire. Inside it was Dane Keller. The prisoner who wouldn't die was now the man who escaped the impossible. Inside the stolen ship, Dane Keller sat in the pilot's seat. His chest was bruised. His face was cut. But his eyes were calm, focused. He was flying the stolen Trex dropship through a dangerous asteroid field. The ship was shaking. Warnings flashed on the screen. Plasma bolts from pursuing fighters zipped past. Dane didn't panic. He remembered his training. He remembered Earth's combat flight program. If you want to live, trust your instincts. He weaved the ship between massive rocks, making sharp turns the Trex fighters couldn't match. One enemy ship smashed into a rock and exploded. The other 2 pulled back. Dane smiled. Flashback, the fall of his team. As the ship flew deeper into space, Dane closed his eyes for a moment. He saw faces, his team, 7 brave humans, friends, soldiers. They had landed here to scout Trex activity. It was supposed to be a short mission, but the Trex were waiting. In the first hour, Lieutenant Mara was vaporized by a minefield. Corporal Juno was taken alive. Dane still didn't know what happened to him. Sergeant Ellis was the last to fall, covering Dane's escape with a plasma grenade in hand. Dane had been captured before he could even fire his weapon. Now, he was all that remained. But he wasn't broken. He was just getting started. The escape plan, hidden steps. Dane hadn't escaped by luck. For weeks in the prison, he watched, waited, studied. He learned where the guards were lazy, which systems glitched, where cameras had blind spots. He mapped every hallway in his head. He memorized access codes whispered by tired guards. He bent a small metal spoon into a lockpick and hid it in his boots. He let the Trex think he was weak, useless. Done. Then In one perfect moment, he made his move. He killed. He ran. He climbed through tunnels filled with steam and fire. He reached the ship bay and took a damaged DROPS IP. It was old, weak, almost broken. But so was he. And that made them a perfect pair. The pursuit begins. Hours after Dane escaped, the Treks High Command sent ships after him, not just fighters. Hunters. These were special warships designed to track high-value targets. To the TREX. Dane was now more than a prisoner. He was a symbol. A problem. A human who made them look foolish, and they could not allow that. Meanwhile on Earth, far across the galaxy, Earth Command received Dane's signal. It was short. One line. Still breathing. Heading to dead space. Eyes open. General Anya Morgan, commander of Earth Special Forces, stared at the message. She whispered, "He's alive." A young officer beside her said, "He escaped a Trek's black site prison." "That's impossible." General Morgan smiled. "Not for Dane Keller." She pressed a button on her desk. "Activate Phantom Protocol." Across Earth's secret bases, agents and soldiers began preparing. Ships were loaded. Weapons unlocked. Earth wasn't going to leave their man behind. Deep in dead space, Dane guided the dropship into a region of space called the Shroud. It was filled with debris, broken satellites, and the remains of ancient battles. No one came here. It was perfect, but the ship was falling apart. Fuel was low, air was running thin. Systems blinked and failed. Dane knew he didn't have long, but he wasn't just hiding. He was sending a signal, a special code. A beacon Earth would understand every few minutes. He adjusted the signal to avoid TREX tracking. And while he waited, he didn't sit still. He opened the storage crate and found two weapons. A Trex plasma cutter and a small energy blade. Not much, but enough. A new threat appears. Just as he finished modifying the ship's transmitter, a strange signal appeared on radar. Not T-REXX. Something else. A pirate ship. Alien scavengers. Not part of the war. They only hunted for resources, prisoners, and salvage. They spotted the damaged dropship and moved in fast. Dane looked at the radar. 4 incoming signals. He smiled coldly. Wrong day, boys. The fight in the dark. The pirate ship latched onto Dane's hull. 4 aliens in old armor burst into the ship with blasters. The inside of the dropship was dark, smoky. Dane waited in the shadows. The first pirate stepped forward and dropped as Dane stabbed him from behind. The second turned to shoot, but a plasma cutter ripped through his chest. Dane grabbed the blaster, rolled across the floor, and took down the third. The last pirate ran, but Dane caught him, fast, silent. Final. In less than 1 minute. The fight was over. Dane was covered in blood again, but he was alive. Why? He let them board. He could have escaped, but he didn't, because he wanted their ship. It had better fuel, stronger weapons, longer range. He dumped their bodies, cleaned the controls, and took off again. Now, he wasn't just a survivor. He was a hunter. The message heard across the galaxy using the new ship. Dane sent out a new message. Not to Earth, not to the Treks, to everyone. A general broadcast on all major space channels. The message was simple. A video. It showed Dane standing in front of the pirate ship symbol. He looked into the camera. His face was bruised. His voice was calm. "My name is Dane Keller. I was a prisoner of the TREXX. I escaped. I will not run. I will not hide. And I am not alone." He paused, then said the words that shocked the galaxy. "You think humans are weak? You're about to learn how strong we really are." The message ended, but the galaxy had already started talking. Treks panic in the TREX War Council. Leaders argued, "This cannot go public. Destroy the signal. Find him now." But it was too late. The message had spread across hundreds of systems. Civilian aliens watched it. Some cheered. Others whispered, "If a human can fight back, maybe we can too." For the first time in decades, the Trek's Dominion felt something they never expected. Fear. Final scene, the promise, in deep space. Dane sat at the controls of his stolen ship. He checked the new coordinates Earth sent him. A hidden outpost. He was still far. Still hunted. But he had a plan. A purpose. He whispered to himself. "They thought I was weak. They locked me up. Now I'm free. Now they'll see." He pressed. The thrusters. The stars blurred outside the window. This is just the beginning. The Trek's warship Vultanus drifted silently near the edge of Sector 9. It was one of the most powerful ships in the Empire. Armed, untouchable, but something was wrong. Its crew stopped answering signals. Scouts sent to check on. The ship found nothing but silence. No signs of life. Just one strange thing. A message burned into the bridge wall. "You hunted me. Now I hunt you." No bodies, no explosions, no clues, just fear. Some began to whisper in dark corners of the galaxy. The human ghost is real. Dane Keller's new identity. Since his escape from the Trek's prison moon, Dane Keller had become more than a man. He had become a story. Ameoathtrexx. Commanders called him a terrorist. Earth called him a hero. But across the stars, people whispered a different name. The human ghost. He didn't fight armies head-on. He didn't lead fleets. He moved in silence, striking hard, disappearing. How Dane planned his next strike. After stealing the pirate ship in Part 2, Dane refitted it with stolen tech from his earlier victims. He made the ship nearly invisible to scanners. He had fuel, weapons, tools, but more than anything, he had purpose. He studied the Trek's fleet's movements, their trade routes, their hidden bases. One base caught his eye, Station Vikros 9, a quiet refueling point in the middle of deep space. No real defenses. Just supply drones and a few lazy guards. It was the perfect target to send a message. Station Vikros 9. Before the attack, the crew on Station Vikros 9 was relaxed. They believed no one would ever attack such a small station. Guards drank stim coffee and played HOLO-games. Their leader, Sub-Commander Threx, leaned back in his chair, laughing with his second-in-command. "Humans are like paper," Threx said. "They tear so easily." Just then, the lights flickered. A strange humming sound filled the station. "Power surge?" someone asked. "No," Threx said, standing. "Something's wrong." Moments later, the security systems went offline, and the doors locked from the inside. The attack begins. Dane moved through the station like a shadow. He wore stolen armor. His face was hidden. He planted EMA grenades at key spots. Destroyed the comms. First. Then the escape pods. He used gas in the air vents to knock out half the guards without a sound. The others he took down with hand-to-hand combat. Silent, fast, brutal. He didn't kill unless he had to, but if they raised a weapon, he ended them. In seconds, the final message on the station, when backup arrived from a nearby patrol ship. They found the station empty. Not destroyed, not burning. Just silent. Inside, they found all surviving Trek soldiers tied up, alive. But the main screen showed a new message recorded by Dane himself. His voice was calm, cold. "You say humans are weak, but weakness doesn't leave you alive. Weakness doesn't walk into your station, take it, and walk out." He paused. "I'm not just human. I'm every voice you silenced. I'm every species you enslaved. And I'm not alone." Then the screen cut to black, whispers across the galaxy. That video spread fast. It was shared in secret. Alien markets. It was sent to rebel groups hiding from the Treks for the first time. The galaxy saw what one human could do with no army. No ship fleet, just courage and fury. Small resistance groups started painting Dane's symbol on walls. A broken chain, Some said he was building an army. Some said he wasn't real at all. But the Treks knew the truth. He was real. And he was dangerous. Inside a secret Treks war council, deep in the capital, the high command gathered. General Cartel slammed his fist on the table. This human is causing chaos. Another leader replied, then destroy him. But how? Someone asked. He moves in silence. He strikes and disappears. Cartel stared at the holoscreen showing Dane's last attack. Then we make him come to us. They created a trap. A message. They leaked it across pirate networks. Earth prisoners being transferred on ship #GRX-11 through Sector 14. But it was fake. A bait. They hoped Dane would see it. Dane takes the bait, but not blindly. Dane saw the message. He knew it could be a trap, but if there was a human prisoner, he had to try. He planned carefully. He scanned the area. Noticed strange power levels. Too many ships. Too many signals. Definitely a trap. So he changed his plan. Instead of rushing in, he would flip the trap, turning the trap into ambush. Instead of attacking ship #GRX-11 directly, Dane hacked into a nearby buoy. He changed the fake prisoner message to look like a real transfer was happening on a different route. The Treks moved their trap there, thinking Dane would go that way, while they waited in the wrong spot. Dane quietly boarded the real ship. It wasn't full of prisoners, but it was full of weapons and supplies meant for a Treks war fleet. Dane smiled. Even better, stealing from the enemy. Dane moved fast. He knocked out the ship's small crew, changed its ID code, and flew it straight into a hidden asteroid field where he had built a small base from scrap. This was no longer just about survival. He was gathering strength. One stolen piece at a time. Meanwhile, Earth watches. Earth Command had been tracking Dane's public messages. They knew he was out there, but they also knew something bigger was happening. General Anya Morgan watched the latest footage from VKROS-9. Her officers stood silent. This man is building a legend, one whispered. He's doing what we couldn't do, another said. He's making the Treks bleed. Morgan nodded. Prepare a recon team. Find him, help him, or follow him. Aliens start to join him in the following weeks. Something new began. Small alien ships began arriving near Dane's hidden base. Some were old rebels. Some were escaped slaves. All had seen his messages. All wanted to fight. They didn't come for revenge. They came because Dane gave them hope. He didn't trust them easily, but he trained them. Taught them how humans fight, not with numbers, but with brains, with fire, with heart. Final scene. The human ghost speaks. In a dark room lit by stolen Treks lights, Dane stood before a small group of alien rebels. He held a datapad showing the map of the next Trek supply line. We hit this, he said, pointing. Then this. Cut off their fuel. Cut off their war. One alien raised his hand. You think we can win? Dane looked him in the eye. No, he said simply. I don't think we can win. The group went quiet. Dane stepped forward. I know we can. The sky over Alcura Prime was a peaceful blue. Children played in floating gardens. Merchants sold food from hover carts. Music echoed in the wind. It was a calm world, far from war. But high above, something moved in space. Silent, cold, watching. Then, without warning, the sky turned red. Dozens of fireballs tore through the clouds. Explosions shook the ground. Buildings fell. The people of Alcura screamed and ran for cover. One little girl pointed up, eyes wide. Mama, she whispered. What's happening? Her mother stared in horror. I don't know. But that's not the Treks. Above them, a ship shaped like a claw cut through the air fast. Deadly. And on its hull, one symbol glowed. A broken chain. The human ghost had arrived. Why Alcura Prime? Alcura Prime was a resource world. Rich in fuel, minerals, and food. The Treks used it to supply their war machines, but Alcora had no real defenses. It was considered safe. That's why Dane Keller chose it. He wasn't just trying to hurt the Treks anymore. He wanted the whole galaxy to see what humans could do. He wanted to send a message loud and clear, so he picked a perfect target. Dane's plan. Dane didn't bring a fleet. He brought 7 ships, a mix of stolen pirate vessels, civilian transports, and one old mining freighter turned war-barge. His team? A few dozen fighters. Most weren't human. Some had never held a weapon before, but he had trained them. He had taught them how to fight like humans, smart, fast, without fear. He split the team into 3 groups. Disrupt the power grid, block the spaceport, cripple the fuel depots. He would handle the main control tower himself. Make it quick, he said. Make it loud. The first strike. The attack started with the power grid. 4 alien fighters, once slaves of the Treks, dug through underground tunnels and planted EMP bombs. The explosions knocked out citywide defenses in seconds. Then, the spaceport went dark. Cargo ships frozen mid-takeoff. Defense turrets shut down. Dane's ships landed in the chaos. Rebel fighters poured out, fast, trained. They didn't kill civilians. They didn't loot. They had one goal: break the Treks' grip on this world. And they were doing it. Inside the control tower, Dane led the charge into the control tower. It was guarded by elite Treks warriors, tall, armored, deadly. But Dane moved like a storm. He used smoke grenades to blind them, plasma blades to cut them down, blasters only when needed. He reached the central command room in 10 minutes. The Treks commander inside raised his weapon. Dane shot it from his hand, then walked up close. "Do you know who I am?" he asked. The commander's face twisted in fear. "You're the human." "The ghost," Dane smiled. "Good." The broadcast to the galaxy. Once the tower was secured, Dane activated the planetary broadcast system. Every screen on Alcora lit up. Every device in the sector received the signal. And across the galaxy, in black markets, space stations, and hidden rebel camps, his face appeared. No mask, no armor. Just Dane Keller. Calm, controlled, human. He spoke clearly. "I am not here to conquer. I am not here for revenge. I am here to show you something." He stepped aside. Behind him, the Trek's flag was burning. This is what fear looks like when it bleeds. He looked straight into the camera. "You thought humans were weak. Now you know the truth." The signal ended. Trek's panic. High Command reacts in the TREXX capital. The High Command exploded in rage. Alcora was safe. "They've turned our own worlds against us. They're not just fighting, they're teaching others to resist." General Cartool slammed his claws on the table. "Then we destroy him. Burn every system he visits." A young officer hesitated. "But sir, that may start a larger rebellion." Cartool's voice was cold. "Then let them burn. Earth reacts differently. On Earth." Leaders watched the broadcast in silence. Admiral Anya Morgan leaned forward. "He's not just surviving, he's leading." An aide nodded. "Other species are rallying behind him. He's doing more than any fleet has." Morgan stood. "It's time. Send the Shadow Team. Get to him before the Treks do." The people of Alcora decide. When the smoke cleared, the people of Alcora stepped out of hiding. They expected chaos, but instead, they found the invaders helping civilians. Dane's team repaired water lines. Alien medics treated the wounded. No one took anything. No one hurt innocents. One old alien approached Dane. "You came to destroy us?" Dane shook his head. "I came to free you." The old alien dropped to one knee. Others followed, not because they feared him, because they believed. Not all were happy, but not everyone on Alcora wanted change. Some Treks, loyalists, gathered weapons in secret. They planned to strike back at night. Dane knew they would come. He waited in the city square. Alone. when the traitors arrived. He stepped forward. "This is your only warning," he said. They fired. Dane moved fast, deadly. He didn't kill them all, just enough to make the point. The rest surrendered. Rebel fighters led them away. Dane stood in silence. His message was clear. This is not a game. This is war. Reinforcements arrive, not what he expected. The next day, a ship approached the city from orbit. Fast, quiet. Dane's team raised weapons, but the ship broadcasted a friendly signal. Earth code. A stealth shuttle landed. 5 figures stepped out. Humans. Shadow. Team from Earth's Special Forces. Their leader saluted Dane. "We've come to help." Dane studied them. "I didn't ask for help." "You didn't need to," the soldier replied. "But Earth is watching, and we stand with you." Dane nodded. "Then let's show them what unity looks like." The beginning of something bigger. Over the next week, Dane and his fighters turned Alcara into a base. They trained new recruits, humans and aliens. They built defenses. They repaired ships. They shared supplies. Other worlds began to send messages. "We want to fight. Can you help us? Are you the human ghost?" To every message, Dane sent the same reply. "I'm not a ghost. I'm a man. And I'm not fighting alone anymore." Final scene. A new flag rises. On top of the control tower, a new flag was raised. Not Earth's. Not any alien empire. A new symbol. A broken chain inside a circle of stars. It meant freedom. It meant rebellion. It meant unity. As the flag waved in the wind, Dane stood with his team. His eyes looked toward the stars. So many enemies. So many battles to come. But now, he wasn't alone. Darkness spread across the galaxy. In deep space, near the ruins of a forgotten planet, a small ship blinked on radar. It was a stolen Trek scout vessel. Inside, Dane Keller sat quietly. His eyes scanned star maps and fleet reports. Around him, dozens of ships gathered in silence. From pirate vessels to alien freighters, from stealth fighters to ancient war barges. The fleet grew every day. They came not because they feared Dane. They came because they believed, because the man they called the human ghost had become something else, a leader. How the fleet formed. After the burning of Alcara Prime, the message spread fast. Rebel groups, slave populations, alien traders tired of war. All heard Dane's voice, one by one. They arrived in hidden star systems near Dane's base. Some were warships barely holding together. Others were sleek stealth crafts stolen from the Treks. They came carrying supplies, weapons, and hope. Dane never demanded loyalty. He gave respect, and he gave a cause. A diverse group. The fleet was not human. Not only humans. There were many species. Tall, armored aliens from the planet Drax. Small, quick pilots from the moon Vera. Beings who used biotech to heal wounds and fight. Each ship told a story. Each captain carried scars from the Trex War. They called Dane their commander, not because he was human, because he had shown them courage. Dane's strategy. He did not want a large, obvious fleet. That would bring war too fast. Instead, Dane chose to keep the fleet scattered. Ships hid in asteroid belts. They moved in small groups. Strike and disappear. The Treks would not know where the next attack would come. This made the human ghost even more dangerous. Training and preparation. Dane and his team worked day and night. They trained the new pilots, taught the alien soldiers how humans fought, not just with weapons, but with mind and will. They drilled silent attacks, surprise ambushes, and fast escapes. Even in space, Dane believed in using brains over brute force. His motto: be smart, be fast, be deadly. The first major attack. One day, Dane's fleet spotted a TREXX supply convoy. Huge transports, carrying weapons and fuel for the war. Dane ordered a strike. Small fighter groups attacked from all sides. The convoy was slow and poorly defended. Explosions lit up space. Transports were destroyed. Supply lines cut. The Treks lost millions in equipment. The message was clear. The human ghost was not just a legend. Trek's response. The Treks were furious. They sent their largest fleet to hunt Dane down. Commanders who had failed before wanted revenge. They believed strength was all that mattered, but they underestimated something humans had in plenty: determination. A dangerous encounter in a remote sector. Dane's fleet faced the Treks hunters. The Treks' ships were bigger, faster, more powerful. The battle was fierce. Lasers lit up the void. Ships exploded in fireballs. Dane's fleet fought hard. They used every trick Dane taught them: smoke screens, sudden retreats, coordinated attacks. It was not victory, but it was survival. And it was a warning. The turning point. After the battle, Dane called a meeting. The fleet gathered in a hidden space station. He looked at the captains. "We survived," he said, "but now we must grow stronger." He showed plans for a new base, a place where they could repair ships, to train more fighters, to plan larger battles. Unity and hope. The fleet was no longer just about survival. It was a symbol of hope, of rebellion, of a future free from the Trexx. Many species began to send support. Money, ships, volunteers. The galaxy was waking up. Earth support. Earth sent more help. Not just weapons and ships. But intelligence. Training. Technology. General Anya Morgan led the effort. "We cannot let Dane fight alone," she said. "He's the spark that will light the fire." The fleet grows. Months passed. The small fleet became a real force. Hundreds of ships. Thousands of fighters, each one ready to fight for freedom. Dane watched it grow with quiet pride. He knew the war was far from over. But now, the galaxy was not alone. Final scene, a new dawn, on the bridge of his flagship. Dane stood looking at the stars. Behind him, the fleet hummed with life. He turned to his closest officers. "We fight for all who suffer." He clenched his fist. "We fight to win." The stars outside shone bright, and the human ghost was no longer alone. The Trex Empire was the largest power in the galaxy. Its fleets ruled countless star systems. Its armies crushed entire planets. But now, something new was rising, something no one expected. A single human, a man named Dane Keller. They called him a ghost, a legend, a nightmare, and he was about to break their empire. The Empire's weakness. The Trex Empire was strong, but not perfect. It ruled through fear and force. But many systems were unhappy. Many alien worlds wanted freedom. They waited for a leader. Someone to show them how to fight back. Dane was that leader. He knew the Empire's weaknesses. Their slow response, their overconfidence, their hate for humans. Dane's new plan. After months of building his fleet, Dane was ready. He gathered his closest commanders. "Today, we do more than survive," he said. "We attack the heart of the Empire." They looked at him, surprised. The heart was the capital planet, Trex Prime, the most defended world in the galaxy. "The Empire thinks we are weak," Dane continued. "They think we will never dare to attack their home. We will prove them wrong." Gathering allies, Dane sent messages to rebel groups across the galaxy. Many responded. Ships arrived from distant stars. They brought fighters. Weapons. Hope. Together, they formed a massive fleet. Not perfect, but determined. The long journey. The journey to Trex Prime was dangerous. The Empire patrolled the space lanes. Dane's fleet had to move quietly. They traveled through asteroid fields, dark nebulae, and forgotten space. Every step was a risk, but the fleet stayed strong. The Empire notices. The Trex noticed unusual ship movements near their borders. They sent patrols. They searched deep space. Dane's fleet was careful. They avoided battles. They moved like shadows still. The Empire grew nervous. Inside the fleet, Dane knew his fleet was not just ships. It was a family. Aliens and humans worked side by side. They shared stories, food, and dreams. Many believed in Dane like never before. He wasn't just a commander. He was a symbol of hope. The first attack, when Dane's fleet reached the outer defenses of Trex Prime. They struck fast. Small fighter groups attacked supply stations. They destroyed communications. They cut off reinforcements. The Empire was shocked. Trex retaliate. The Empire responded with full force. Warships swarmed. Missiles flew. Laser beams tore through space. But Dane's fleet was ready. They used hit-and-run tactics. They hid in asteroid belts. They fought smart. The battle for Trex Prime. The final battle began above the capital world. It was massive. Ships clashed like stars, exploding. The sky glowed with fire. Dane piloted his flagship at the front. His fighters moved in waves. Every strike was calculated. Every move risky. Dane's secret weapon. Dane had one surprise. A new technology stolen from the Empire. A weapon that could disable enemy ships' engines. He used it on the largest warships. One by one, they fell silent, trapped. The turning point. With many ships disabled, Dane ordered a final attack. His fighters stormed the capitals, defense stations. They took control of key points. The Empire was losing. The Empire's fall on the ground. The alien rebels rose. They fought the Empire's soldiers. Rex commanders were captured, their power broken. The capital world was in chaos. Victory's price. But victory was not without cost. Many ships were lost. Many friends died. Dane stood before his commanders. "We have won today," he said. "But the war is not over." They nodded. They knew the Empire would fight back. A new era. Dane sent a message across the galaxy. Today, the Empire fell. But freedom is only beginning. We will build a new future. One without fear. One where all species are equal. Final scene. The human who broke the Empire. Dane stood on the highest tower of the capital city. The broken Trex flag lay at his feet. He looked at the stars. Behind him. All eyes gathered. The galaxy was watching. And the human who was once a prisoner, now stood as the man who broke the Empire. The galaxy was changing. Stars shone brighter. Ships flew freer. The Trex Empire was broken. Its power shattered. But in the silence after the war, one question remained. Who was Dane Keller? The man they called the human ghost. A prisoner. A fighter. A legend. And now, a legacy. The aftermath of war. The capital world, once the heart of the Trex Empire, was quiet. Ruins of great buildings stood under a peaceful sky. Rebels and survivors worked together. They cleared debris, rebuilt homes, shared stories of the fight. Among them, Dane Keller moved quietly. No longer a ghost, but still a man with a mission. A new government. The former rebel leaders gathered. They wanted peace. They wanted justice. Dane watched as they formed a council. A new government. One where every species had a voice. Dane was offered a leadership role. He refused. "I fought to break chains," he said. "Now you must build the future." The galaxy reacts. Across the stars, worlds once ruled by fear began to celebrate. Aliens and humans shared new trade routes. Peace treaties were signed. Old enemies met in halls of diplomacy. But the galaxy was still fragile. Some still wanted war. Some still feared the past. Dane's vision, in a quiet room on a small space station. Dane spoke to young leaders. "War taught us many lessons," he said. "Fear divides us. Courage unites us. We must remember what we fought for: freedom, justice, and hope. The threat remains, even as peace grew. New dangers appeared. Pirates and rogue factions tried to take power. Old wounds ran deep. Dane knew the fight was not over. He trained new defenders. Built alliances, kept watch, because the galaxy's freedom was fragile. The human ghost's influence Dane's story spread far and wide. Songs were sung about the ghost who fought alone. Children learned his name. Planets named ships after him. He became a symbol, a reminder that one person could change everything. Friends and allies, Dane's closest. Friends remained by his side. Aliens who fought with him, humans who believed in him. They shared laughs, meals, and memories. Together, they prepared for the future, the final message. Before disappearing on a secret mission, Dane sent a message. It was simple, a promise. To all who hear this, the fight for freedom is never over. But with courage, we will always prevail. I am not a ghost. I am human. And so are you. A new beginning. The galaxy watched as Dane's ship vanished into the stars. His legend lived on, but the future was theirs to write. A future where humans and aliens stood side by side. A future born from the courage of one man. Closing scene. A distant world. A child looked up at the night sky. She whispered, "Thank you, human ghost." The stars twinkled back, and the galaxy waited.